What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Albert Feinstein career mode in FIFA 21. And after a very difficult start to the season, having faced Liverpool, followed by Man United as well as Crystal Palace, it's time for us to head into a match that on paper should be a lot easier, obviously, against Millwall in the Carabao Cup. Talking about a much smaller club than the ones we've faced so far, because even Crystal Palace, obviously they're not really a team that you can consider favorites to win anything or even really compete for the Champions League spots, but they still have players like Zaha, like Townsend, who on their day are extremely dangerous, especially Zaha. But overall, they're a tough team. Millwall shouldn't present too many issues. Let's see if we can actually do something and move forward in the Cup, because of course the Carabao Cup is something we should try to win. It's not something I'm worried too much about, because it is still a small cup, but I would rather win the FA Cup, obviously. But, it is, realistically one of the few things we can actually hope to potentially achieve. And Reina makes it 1-0 after 18 minutes. Beautiful strike there, showing his quality. I mean, obviously, it's, like I said, against a smaller team, but at the end of the day, man, you have to beat who's in front of you, and Reina is doing a good job of kicking us off on the right foot, and that's really important to see, mostly because, he's showing that his finishing is actually pretty good, because, he struck that pretty much perfectly. There was no complaints about that at all. We have Adarabioyo. Holy shit, I'm not even going to try to say his name. But we make it 2-0 with De Cordova. After 24 minutes, looking like we're going to be moving on. And I think the biggest thing about the Carabao Cup right now is that we really do need a way to grow some of our younger players. Because looking at the team, obviously a lot of the players we have in our starting lineup are on loan. And that's normal, because we need to have a good base of players who have, the quality to really stay in the Premier League for that first season. Because, we almost make it 3-0. We need to keep ourselves up in the Premier League, and without some of these players on loan, it's going to be difficult, like Loftus-Cheek, etc. But we do need, a platform to grow some of these younger players. That way, next season, when we don't have these players on loan, we have what it takes to survive and bring in additional reinforcements to really make this a decent team going forward for the long haul. Millwall almost make it 2-1. Luckily, our goalkeeper did a great job of keeping us up by 2 goals. Sari, as you can tell, I may or may not have fallen asleep. I will not confirm nor deny. I definitely fell asleep. I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. I fell asleep in brutal fashion. Bennett moves forward. Opportunity to make it 2-1. Thankfully, his shot is just embarrassing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I can only play, or not that I can only play, but it's easier for me to play pretty late at night, so I do occasionally fall asleep. This time I did not fall asleep, and I gave away a penalty. Opportunity for Millwall to get back in this match, and with 20 minutes left, anything could happen, and they make it 2-1. Boom! It's a well taken penalty. Goalkeeper dove. He should have just stayed still, but things don't work that way. An opportunity for Millwall right at the end of the match, but there shouldn't be enough time. I mean, okay, there's a corner. All right, never mind. I thought that was a goal kick. Corner comes in. Opportunity is not taken, and that should be that, unless the referee decides that he hasn't seen enough. And there you go. There he goes. This 2-1 is the final result. Not a great performance, but it was good enough to move on to the next round, which of course means prize money and at least one more match where we can use some of our younger players. Hopefully, we'll have a weaker side, though we can rest a lot more of our players as well. We have an offer for Adarabio. I really am sorry if this guy, for some weird reason, is watching this video that nobody else is really watching. Adarabioyo. That's a hard name. Okay, now we're gonna try to sign Daka again. Or have we already? Was he the guy that rejected? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he rejected us before. We're going to try to sign Daka just because it was requested, and I do want to try to sign the players that are requested. I want to make you guys as happy as I can buying the players that you want. So we're going to go ahead and accept this 17.2 for a guy with a lot of potential who fits the FIFA meta realistically. He's fast, he's physically strong, and he's got good finishing even though he's really young. He's a good player to have. 44,000 per week, which isn't bad considering what his potential is. He's a high potential, like 86. So he's definitely a player who can do good things for us moving forward. For the moment, I'm going to leave Buadu as the striker just because his sharpness is higher, because that's a thing now, which I like. So we're going to give Daka a little bit of time to adapt and get himself to full fitness and being ready to play 90 minutes. And we have an actually pretty tough match right here. We have West Ham away. They're going to be playing a 5-4-1, which apparently is the probable lineup. And I do like the fact that they give you the probable lineup before you start the match, because that does give you the option, if you want, to adapt to your opponents tactically, which obviously if you're a team like Barcelona, Man City, etc., Real Madrid, then you're not too worried necessarily about your opponents. But if you're a team like Fulham, that can be fundamental. Now, West Ham isn't really a team that's going to make us change our way of playing, but that is something to keep in mind moving forward, that we do have the opportunity of knowing our opponent's formation beforehand and adapting as we need to. Maybe against the bigger teams play a little bit more defensively, which is obvious regardless. But if we see a team like West Ham playing a 5-4-1, then we know we're going to have a little bit more of the ball, and we're going to have a bit more we're going to need a little bit more quality in there as we make it 1-0. A beautiful team goal. I think an assist there by Williams, actually, who I've really been liking in game. You know, a lot of times when you have these young players who have low overalls, you can still kind of get them to play above their overall just because of how they actually feel in the game. I know it sounds kind of weird, like overall should be the defining factor, because that's of course statistically how good they are, but that's just not really the case in FIFA. And we saw that with Williams right there. He provided a great assist, and the goal from Mitrovic is there as Boadu actually gets in the box beautifully, and he makes it 2-0 with just an excellent individual play. I mean, the way he freed himself in the marker with that beautiful move and the perfect strike, that is as nice a goal as you're going to get. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. I mean, just look at this. Just pure pace right here. Skill with the finish as well. Keeper had no chance of stopping that one. And it is 2-0. Excellent start to this. Really, moving towards the end of the match. Areola makes a huge mistake. I don't know what the hell he was doing there. That's just an embarrassment. Like, that is a genuine embarrassment right there. So he should be ashamed of that. But that's just classic FIFA, especially in this game. You know, before, like last season, crosses were essentially trash and they were useless. But I feel like this season is much like FIFA 19, where heading is just extremely overpowered. And that's kind of why I'm keeping Mitrovic in there, because I do know that once we have better crossing stats for some of our fullbacks, as well as even like realistically with Boadu, I mean, he could be extremely dangerous. Daka does the same thing that Boadu did earlier. He puts it on his left foot, finds Mitrovic, who makes it 3-1 just to close it out. West Ham, just as soon as they got back in the match, they find themselves 2 goals behind once again. Beautiful play there from Daka. Apparently, and this is always something I've kind of refrained from doing, which is learning skill moves, even the basic ones. And I guess this is just kind of proving that it really does help a lot, even against the AI. So I'm gonna have to work on that a little bit more. I have quit Ultimate Team, and I will do a video eventually talking about that. I just don't know. Ultimate Team is just a shit show. I wanted to give it one more shot. They failed, and it is what it is. I will discuss that later. But yeah, it's like, apparently things that are good against humans are also good against the AI, which is in some ways good to see, because that means that it does the game does keep in mind some of the real life issues that players can have, which is good and bad, obviously, but for different reasons. We make it 3-1. That's a good win right there. Definitely a good win in a match between 2 Scottish managers. Davy Moyes, play like Fergie boys, never forget. Okay, Harrison Reed. We have an offer here from Antwerp. Oh no, sorry. They couldn't come to an agreement with Antwerp. So now there's an offer from Stade de Reims from France. And they're also offering Dario Marizic. And I checked, and Marizic is actually like an 82, 83 overall potential-wise, which is 2 or 3 more than what we would be giving away. So this is an offer I'm actually really interested in, because the resale value for this guy is actually really solid. And I'm very much interested in players like that, because I do think that's going to give us a good option to sell later on and make money to get the players that we really want. We have an offer for Jean-Michel Seri, and that's not really something I want to accept from Stade de Rennes, because obviously I don't want to sell these players that are actually Fulham players, because we will be losing a lot of our players next season, and I don't want to be losing some of these guys that could actually be starters for us next time, depending on how we do and how much money we have for the transfer market. We have an offer for Michael Hector. Obviously, Jopino, my main man, he asked me, like, please sell that fucker, and I'm trying. I am very much trying. He rejected the move to Utrecht, which is it completely makes sense. Who wants to go to Utrecht when you're playing in the Premier League in London? We get an offer. See if maybe he'll accept an offer from Werder Bremen, which is a much bigger team in a much bigger league. So hopefully he will. Another offer from Seri, this time from Lazio. We're going to go ahead and reject that. We're going, interested in this one. We're going to reject it because the player that they offered, Extetia, he's just not that good. I think that's the guy's name. He's just not that good, so it's not really worth accepting that. Offer from Santa Clara for Hector. We're going to go ahead and accept that as well. Francois, transfer talks end. That's frustrating, but it is what it is. Zambo Anguissa. This is a decent offer here from Napoli. But this is another player that is really, really promising. And he's actually our player, so obviously we don't want to lose somebody like him because he is one of the stars of our midfield. And worst comes to worst, we make him grow a little bit more and we can sell him for a much higher price later on. So right now we're going to keep him. At least something. Yeah, let's go ahead and keep him because he's really, like, realistically, he's a very, very important player for us and is going to be one of the foundations, one of the blocks for our foundations moving forward. Michael Hector, Hector has been sold. Another offer for Zambo Anguissa, and I don't want to accept, so stop offering, even though Athletic Club does offer a decent sum. But yeah, like I said, it's not that easy to find a good replacement for a decent amount of money. Unfortunately, Harrison Reed refuses to move, so we're not going to be able to get that deal where we get Marisic. That's frustrating. But honestly, that's what I expected because, I mean, he doesn't want to go to France, and it just makes sense. He's an English midfielder, 25 years old. He lives in London. It's probably difficult to get these guys to leave. So, fair play to him. We have an offer for Tom Kearney. We could technically accept this because we do have Reina, but I'm still just going to maintain enough squad depth to guarantee that we can stay in the Premier League next season. I had a request to scout in Lithuania. Unfortunately, for those regions, there are very limited options. There's Poland, Romania, and then there's like Russia. There's absolutely nothing we can do. No, there's not even Russia, so we can't even. Yeah, we can't. Unfortunately, hope if you're watching, I'm sorry, man. I tried, but you can't scout in Lithuania. So that's a shame. But it is what it is. Now we're gonna try to. We will eventually set up some scouting networks. That's important moving forward, but today is not the day. I'm gonna try to wait and see what we can do financially before I start looking at the scouting. Obviously, you can get some good players, some really, really good players through scouting. But as of right now, we're just gonna kind of focus on the main transfer window and see what we can do with that. Obviously, they showed Mitrovic there with 4 goals in 3 games, I think it was, or 3 goals in 4 games. So he's been looking really, really good. He's an important part of our team, and I'm really happy that we didn't sell him because he's really keeping us afloat right now. Tielemans with just a brilliant move. Oh my God! Just look at this. Absolutely sensational moves there from Tielemans. Just absolutely gorgeous move. Look at this. The spin is sensational, and the way that he moved the ball there was just absolutely stunning. So, I mean, he's a great player in real life, and it's good. It is kind of good to see stuff like that in the game too, because a lot of times you don't really see that against the AI. So that was a nice thing to see, as we had an opportunity there. Unfortunately, we weren't really able to do much with it. Now, in the dying embers of the match, Seri finds Daka. Daka's very fast, so we can get him in behind the defense. There we go. He's in behind, left foot, and he finds a great save there from Kasper Schmeichel. Absolutely stunning save. Unfortunately, not able to get ourselves back in this match. Mitrovic with his head. Oh, almost an own goal. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky there. That sucks, but it is what it is. Opportunity to continue to siege Leicester City. Reina on the wing. Opportunity, doesn't take the cross. He finds Mitrovic, who doesn't play a great pass, to be fair. Daka. Williams on his favorite not his favorite left foot. That's even more impressive. He makes it 1-1, first of all. Second of all, he's a right-footed player, so he could have easily fucked that up, despite him being considered left back in the game, and obviously a lot of times playing left back in real life. He is a right back, or at least he's right-footed, so I would prefer him to be a right back. But I mean, he could have easily blown this, but he hit an inch-perfect Shot straight into the top corner on the far post. Brilliant mover right there from Fulham. Most importantly, great finish there from Williams, who finds Loftus-Cheek, who finds Daka and just barely misses. That's definitely an opportunity that we should not have missed right there. I mean, just look at this. Great positioning. Everything was perfect. Unfortunately, the finish just wasn't quite. I'm sure Albert Feinstein's going to have something to say in the locker room later on. I'm sure he's not going to be happy about that. And it finishes 1-1. But to be fair, man, like, Leicester is a top team. So a draw against Leicester is not something to be ashamed of. Absolutely no shame in that. You could argue that one of their players, as in Madison, is probably worth more than our entire team combined. So definitely no shame in losing or drawing to them, as we find ourselves in 5th position in the standings, which is actually really good. I mean, we have 9 points in 5 matches. Obviously, you know, you could kind of expect more, but I mean, come on now. We've played Crystal Palace, which is the easiest of the teams that we've played. Then we played, of course, talking about the league. Then we played United, we played Liverpool, and we played Leicester. I mean, who's missing? We're missing one team. Oh, and West Ham. You know, I mean, all really good teams. Yeah, like, none of these teams were shit. That's for damn sure. So, luckily, we have a good amount of points after 5 matches, and there's absolutely nothing to complain about there. When you look at the top goal scorers, Sonny is number 1 with 5 goals, followed by Sterling. Mitrovic is on par with Sterling with 4 goals in 5 matches. Then we don't have any more of our players here, unfortunately. Assists, we do have one, which is Daka, with 2 assists in 2 matches, which is really solid. Stevens leads the way, followed by Moutinho, which is interesting, but fair enough. He's definitely a top quality player as well. Clean sheets, there's Fotheringham, who replaced Dean Henderson as the starter for Sheffield, and then Kasper Schmeichel. No surprise there. He's a really good keeper as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comment section down below what you think of our points total, which is 9 in 5 matches against very tough teams. Let me know what you think all about that. And guys, just thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.